Welcome to this introductory video on how to use the UndoDB plugin for Clion. Today we'll be showing how to use the Clion IDE with UndoDB to debug a simple program. We assume Clion and the UndoDB plugin have been installed. If not, please take a look at the other videos available on the Undo website. As you can see, we loaded the Cache Calculate CPP project, which is available for download. The project is a simple square root calculator that caches 100 results to improve speed. To start the debugging session, we click on the debug symbol in the top right corner of the screen. This will build the project. Load it into memory and run UndoDB, which will execute the program. There are 4 tabs that allow us to move in different views. The first two are Debugger and Console. This is the Console tab, and as you can see, it shows the program output. The Debugger tab contains the 2 other tabs. First is the Variables tab, which shows the local variables for the function we are in. The GDB tab is a command line interface to GDB. This allows us to use all the UndoDB commands that are not available through the IDE. As we've seen, the Console tab contains the program output. Let's read it and see what happened. It appears that the program has been aborted because the square root of 255 is not 15 as expected. The program threw an exception. Let's debug it. First, let's go back to the point where the exception was thrown. To do that, let's set a breakpoint in the operator function inside the cache tester class. And then, let's reverse continue to that point. We are now on the breakpoint, as we can see in the GDB tab. If we switch to the Variables tab, we can see that the variable called number is 255, square root cache is 0, and square root correct is 15. That is definitely wrong. We can go backwards using reverse next and then see what happened inside square rooter with reverse step. This shows we are actually at the end of square rooter, as line 55 is the closing bracket of the function. Let's keep going backwards to see what the return value is. So the value is being found in the cache. Let's confirm it. Because we are always calculating 2 square roots when given a number not in cache, let's take a look at the preceding and following values inside our cache. Looking at data inside the IDE means having to make a lot of clicks. It might be better to use the command line for this. When we scroll, we can see that the value before 255 is 210 and the following is 0. Because 255 is the first number of the pair, we can now add a conditional breakpoint to go backwards until we calculate the square root of 0. And we can reverse continue until we hit the breakpoint. Now we can step to see what happens to the number before 0. As expected, the variable number 2 is -1. So why does it show as 255? What type is the variable called data? We've found the bug. Data is unsigned char, so when -1 is saved, it is wrongly cast to show 255. Just to recap what we've learnt in this demonstration. We've learnt how to start a program, how to set breakpoints with and without conditions, how to continue the program forwards and backwards, how to execute one line forwards and backwards, how to print the value of different variables. Of course, if any of the commands used here were not clear, It is possible to use the help command inside UndoDB or the man pages that come with the UndoDB package. Thanks for watching. For more information, visit the Undo website at undo.io.